Good evening. This is Duane Lowry for the DPP Grain Desk on Sunday, January 12th. It's currently about 5:15 Sunday afternoon. The outlook here tonight is going to be partially based on spillover from activity on Friday and adjusting to reports from USDA on Friday. The weather outlook for Argentina and Brazil, I don't think it's significantly different than what we had on Friday. Argentina's got some areas of dryness. We're going to experience some heat later this week. Mixed expectations for next week's forecast. But the reality is the forecast is not super significantly different than we had Friday. The production there probably is being lowered for corn from what it was earlier, but not significantly different than it was minutes before USDA's report was out on Friday. But USDA's reports and the price action that followed creates a different environment where maybe now the market cares about some dryness concerns, and maybe now the market cares that we're going to shave a million or two tons of corn production potential off of Argentina's production. With the USDA lowering U.S. carryout, lowering global supplies, uh, it's helped to create price action that is creating short covering activity. With that short covering activity, there's pressure on the shorts. There's a rush to try to find bullish spin, to create bullish spin. So I think the weather forecast gets more of a bullish spin than maybe is completely warranted. But in the same token, should not be underestimated in terms of a market driver here this week. This week's price action in corn is going to be, in my opinion, solely driven by short covering activity. The weather is just an after the fact excuse to help explain it. We talked about every day last week in the morning commentary before the report came out. I talked about the potential and the setup that we had in corn for a short covering report or short covering activity, and the type of short covering activity that could spill into a post report um, performance. That's pretty much exactly what we got, and I think that's going to continue this week. It takes time to cleanse the market of shorts, and I think for many people, the fundamental argument for a bearish case is still in place. I don't think the USDA reports really alter that, so it's going to take more than just a day or two of price action to fully chase the shorts out of the marketplace. You've got some upside potential in corn from Friday's close. You've probably got a minimum of a dime. I personally think it's probably closer to 20 cents. I think you spend all week trying to gravitate up there. It may spill over into either additional strength next week or maintaining of the corrective strength that we get this week well into and through next week. So basically, you've got 10 days here where I think the marketplace is going to be well supported. You add 20 cents onto the corn market, that takes July futures towards, um, let's say, 460, maybe even a little bit higher than that. I think those type of levels offer producers hedging opportunities. They offer you opportunities to maybe forward sell some supplies. Remember, just before this report, everybody was scared to death with their unpriced and unhedged inventory. You're getting a reprieve here. You're going to get some price recovery, but I think you have to look at it in the proper context. We're not talking about a price recovery rally that is going to be able to last for weeks or months. We're not talking about USDA numbers that completely alters the outlook for corn prices. You're not talking about a USDA projection that changes the plentiful supply situation that we have. There's also some people that are going to look at USDA's reports and feel that maybe final carryout could still end up being higher than what we had for a projection from USDA on Friday. So I think there's a lot of areas to look at. The reality is we've got plenty of corn, we've got plenty of wheat. There's going to be all kinds of type of things for price pressures on corn in the weeks and months ahead. Right now, though, we've got a short covering process. Producers need to take a look at the rally that's given to us over this week and possibly into next week, and consider it an opportunity to get caught up on sales. Like we've talked about here for the last several weeks, sales decisions now really can't be based on what is a great price or you can feel good about the price. We've got to look at what is a good price in relationship to what it might be if you continue to hold into the spring and into the early summer, especially if we get the crop off to a good start. It looks like we're going to have ample acreage. Looks like we got a situation that's going to be easy to maintain this type of carryout into the next marketing year, and possibly very realistic to build upon whatever carryout we have this year. So I think when you look at it in that context, rallies in the corn market are meant to be used as selling opportunities, hedging opportunities. And I think right now you target in July futures something around 460, maybe a little bit better than that. As far as downside potential, I think before the report it was reasonable to say that ultimate downside potential in corn was like 370s for spot futures. I'm not sure that the report Friday did anything to alter what could be a downside potential here in corn. It might be a situation that downside risk is extended a little bit more into the growing season. In other words, maybe you have to be off to a good start. Maybe you got to get past the 1st of June before the marketplace will feel confident. But I think the ultimate price target or downside risk of, say, 70 spot futures, I think is still real. And if you're able to get July futures sold hedged at 460, you're talking about trying to protect yourself from 75 cents or a dollar of downside potential at that point. And I think that's how you look at the corn market going forward. As far as wheat tonight, I think you're going to see wheat trade on possibly trade on both sides. That comment probably means more for the week in general. Wheat took a big hit Friday. Wheat corn took a big hit. It down at contract lows basically in that wheat corn spread. But the reality is we can easily build upon that weakness in wheat during the next week or two as liquidation activities in corn, short covering activities in corn cause more pressure on those intermarket spreads. Wheat has no story at the present time, probably won't have a story for the next 30 days, and that probably means the prices have to continue to weaken. Any short covering bounce that we attempt to get in wheat, which we probably will this week, especially if corn is able to rally 15 or 20 cents, I think those corrective bounces will be limited. As far as beans are concerned, I think there's a lot of downside risk here in beans. You've got ample supply. Let's put it this way. You've got adequate supplies in the U.S. You've got abundant supplies globally. We're far enough into the growing season in South America where you're going to have record production in Brazil, record overall South American production. I think you've got a situation here where old crop premiums are going to continue or begin to weaken, and I think that it's going to be very difficult to sustain old crop beans at current values. You've got a global cash market structure that is very likely to lead to Chinese cancellation of U.S. purchases. They're going to switch origin to cheaper South American supplies. It's very easy to imagine a bearish storyline here for beans. New crop beans are already cheap enough, in my opinion. They probably get cheaper, but not by a significant amount over the next few months. But old crop beans have a lot of downside risk. As far as tonight is concerned, I don't think there's much of a reason to have beans higher tonight. I think we probably start lower, and I think it's very possible that we'll spend very little time trading higher than Friday's settlement in beans anytime here in the next few weeks. Downside risk, I think you measure as being at least a dollar from current levels in old crop beans, quite possibly more than that. And I think producers have very little reason to be hanging on to old crop bean supplies. So look for some weakness tonight. Corn be well supported. Wouldn't be surprised if corn starts even a little bit higher. But I think as the week goes along, short covering activity will keep corn well supported. For the DPP Grain Desk, this is Duane Lowry. Thank you.